Hi. Um, Excuse my hair if it looks a little rough right now. We're gonna be nice about it today. It's just doing its own thing. We're just gonna be nice to me about it. Um, this is the end of a saga here. We are talking about the last book in the Diana Flowers series. It's the last book as far as I know, but I started reading this series years ago and there hasn't been another one. It just ends on a very much not a. It's like half of it ends on a like there's it's we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Do you want to start out by saying if you are looking for ways to support me, if like big fan of me ranting and raving about books. If you're a big fan of that and you want to support me, I have plenty of ways you can do that linked down below, including my own books that I have written. I have The Queen of Thieves, A New Throne. That is the first book of my spy series. And then I have Imani and Aaliyah's Fashion Bible. Oh, big yawn. Shit. This cat. Oh, if my room wasn't a disaster, I would show you this cat because he sleeps in the weirdest positions. As I was saying, Queen of Thieves, New Throne, that is my spy series, and then Imani and Leah's Fashion Bible, that is my sapphic autistic cheerleader romance. Both of these are linked down below alongside the link for the Creators for Palestine fundraiser. They are very close to the goal of $1 million raised. So if you're able to, go ahead and check out those links down below to support that as well. Diana Flowers, let's just from the jump, let's be clear about what's going on here. That's not stupid. What is hold on. Canva is the most annoying fucking thing sometimes. We gave this book a easiest one star of my fucking life. Oh my god, I don't even know. This is gonna be really complicated to describe. Like, I will show you what my notes for this look like. My notes for this are, that's all I, like, not including, like, the stuff I highlighted to comment on throughout the reading. Like, just trying to summarize, that's all I could put because it's so fucking convoluted. I didn't feel like writing all that shit down. So we're going to let's describe the book for you. So Diana, our main character Diana, she is our murder solving florist and floriculture expert. She is planting some lupins and comes across a skeleton in her yard. Turns out it belongs to this guy that died a while ago in a very confusing case with lots of unanswered questions. And that's plotline A. Plotline B is Diana's ex George sends her a very cryptic cry for help, and it's hidden in a novelty blow-up clock. Now, let me try and explain to you as best as I can what's going on with this fucking mystery. Okay, so the mystery is we find the bones, and they are the bones of Lord Rushmore, who a long time ago, it is said that he was charged in a case. He was charged in a case in which the idea is that he came to his ex-wife's house in, like, anger, I guess, and was planning to kill her, and accidentally kills her assistant instead. Mistakes the two of them, accidentally kills the assistant instead. The wife comes, sees him trying to bag the body, and he goes, attacks her, but doesn't get to kill her, and runs off. People see, later on, they see one of his cars with the murder weapon, or with a weapon, a pipe that has the Lady Rushmore's blood on it, like by a by a pier or something, and they're assuming he like died in the water. But people are like, that's so weird because that's not the car he was in that night. And then later, I want to say even like years later, a mysterious caller calls and says, I think I see like Lord Rushmore, and like he was with two other men, but only two men came. I heard a gunshot and then only two men came out. And that's the deal with this murder mystery, right? So the characters we have in play are Lord Rushmore, his wife, the assistant, who is the first to do, is really the only one the first to die, if you include Lord Rushmore. They have a daughter who slept through the whole thing, and you also have this mysterious caller. And like at the end of the day, you also have a bunch of people who if Lord Rushmore died that other day, someone planted the car. So the real story of what's happened, because one of the issues they had, one of the questions that were in a part of the case is that Lady Rushmore's blood was in the bag that the assistant's body had been shoved into, and they blamed it on just mishandling of the case. And this issue, what happened was the daughter is the one who took the pipe, killed the woman, and it cut her hand, and that her blood got in there, but because of the technology of the day, they couldn't tell the difference between the daughter and the mother's blood, I guess. And it's weird because then when it also appeared to be similar to Lord Rushmore's, I don't know. But the daughter killed the woman, cut her hand, that's how her blood got in the bag and on that weapon. But and then dad comes by and he tries to help mom hide the body. The problem is, and this is where it feels like just what is happening. So the reason why the assistant was there in the first place was because Lady Rushmore also had a cut on her hand prior to the events, and so she just couldn't do anything because she had a cut on her hand, and so she had her assistant come in, and then the daughter kills her. And then when Lord Rushmore is trying to hide the body, the mom's like, oh my god, I'm going to frame him for the murder and for trying to attack me. And so she finds a different pipe. And starts beating herself with it. Also reopens the cut on her hand. I don't know why that was important, because the idea is that the reason why Lord Rushmore's blood was in the over on the weapon was because the daughter and the mother's blood matched the same, but they also have matching cuts on her hand, both of which bled, but that's the story of that. And then when Lord Rushmore figured out what's going on, he ran for it. Lady Rushmore is friends with people of this big bad overlord conspiracy group that's in charge of everything, manipulating everything, yada yada yada. And they were a part of helping her hide the body. I fucking guess. Or hide the body, frame, or not even hide the body, but it helped her frame her husband, I guess. They were probably also a part of killing him. So there is this, when the case starts happening, a new detective comes to town. He is a very well-renowned detective, and Diana is suspicious of him the whole time, because why is this renowned detective coming to my little bitty town to be our new DI? Why is he now why that feels like a downgrade? What is going on? I'm suspicious. And what's happened there is that the person that made the anonymous call way back when to report that someone had been murdered, someone had been shot, was a child version of that officer who is now trying to, like, he wants to find justice. It's weird. And this was also, like, in the text, is, like, in not even, like, long distance in the text. It's, like, one page he says, this case is the reason why I wanted to become a police officer. I did not want to live in a world where people could escape justice. And then in the next page, he was like, it was so weird. As a kid, I thought those people were bringing someone to justice like superheroes. But as I've spent time being a police officer, I know that no one would do anything like that unless it was selfish. And that's bad. Like, that's... Ooh, that was... I was exhausted. Again, to remind you, the person that in the original case had called in saying they saw Lord Rushmore get shot, was a child version of the police officer that is now involved in the case today. Was there anything else? Also, Diana, because this was happening on her property, a lot of people, like, the body was found on her property, a lot of people were coming and bothering her for, like, scoops and to try and get, like a lot of, like, sharks and a lot of paparazzi and a lot of, like, scummy journalists, including this one guy who blackmailed her into getting information. And the second she's been stressing about this the whole book, and then at the end of the book, she tells the cop dude, the DI, that she, like, oh my god, this guy is gonna ruin my business because I'm not giving him information for the police. And of course, lo and behold, we've been looking for that guy for ages. He's been, like, again, like, he walked past, it seemed like, several police fucking officers on his way to her house, and they still, I guess, couldn't fucking catch the dude. But he's like, we've been trying to catch this guy for years, and lo and behold, she gets no consequences. I think that's all of the overarching bullshit with the mystery, the main mystery. The secondary mystery is that her boyfriend George her ex George sends her this cryptic cry for help. Turns out he gets, like, mixed up with a fucking drug ring, I guess. I don't fucking know. And then they send in Diana and Fergus, the love interest, to pose as people buying or something to try and, like, get, like, help raid the place because there's people on the inside. And it was just not great either. That was also not a great part of the story. It was not well done. Yeah, the mysteries here were just not great. It felt like, for me, it felt like the author, since book 4, which is where the whole thing, just 1 through 3 were great. Book 4, book 5, maybe honestly, I don't even know if it's worth getting invested in the beginning, in the first place now. The author seemed to not want to, like, stick to a small, like, hometown cozy mystery. They wanted to do, quote unquote, like, more, it seemed like. But it seemed like they did not know how to handle exposition and information distribution throughout the novel. So there was infinite amounts of just exposition dumping everywhere that was just not interesting to read. The summary of the mystery, we solved the mystery, and sounded like bullshit. It sounded like complete and utter bullshit when we got to the fucking end of it. And so, I feel like that was a waste of my goddamn time. I was very displeased. I was very displeased with this with reading this. And the thing that pisses me off the most is because it felt like the author forgot about the romance between Diana and Fergus until the very end, which is frustrating because, like, I think I rated the last book like a 4. I would have rated a 2, but there was one fucking line in it having to deal with the romance, and it was so good, and I just loved it so much that I was like, you know what? Fuck it. 4-star. And now here we go, where, like, the closest thing we get to, like, acknowledging the romance in this book prior to the last fucking scene is we get at the beginning, her sister is like, oh, I might want to date Fergus. And that's about it. And then they're interviewing the daughter from the case, who, again, this is a long time ago, so she is grown now. And she's, like, flirting with Fergus, batting her eyelashes, and, like, and the way the author describes this person is really kind of scummy, honestly. Like, it basically, any woman that's not Diana that seems to have interest in Fergus is fake and terrible and plastic and gross. And, like, we don't like that, but, like, that's the closest other thing we got in terms of the romance. And then Fergus walks in on Diana and the DEI talking, and men be men, and testosterone suffocates the fucking room with jealousy. And that's that. And then we get, this is the end of it, where they the end is like, Diana, I like you, Diana, very much. You do know that, don't you? He said, seeming to search my soul. I feel the same, I told him, carefully, feeling my way around this unexplored territory. But I knew what he was trying to say. I knew that we held the same seed of love in our hearts that we hadn't noticed blossoming until now. This is why, like, I swear on my life, white people are the reason why I didn't like romances. Because what the that's gross. That is the grossest, corniest kind of line I could genuinely never be interested in. I like that line, like, brings up all of the, God, I fucking hate romance. No, I just hate it's just not, it's bad. It's just bad of that fucking line, especially, again, because there was no romantic interaction with them throughout most of the book. I feel like they barely were together most of the fucking book. I just, like, when they were together, Diana, like, barely fucking acknowledged his existence, which is fine. If you don't want them to have a fucking romance, then don't have them don't do this shit at the end. Don't do this. Don't do this. Oh my god, I just hated that. I wish, it makes me wish this was a physical book so I could tear it to shreds. I hate that line had to happen. I had to read that in my lifetime. I'm upset. And again, it sucks because I've seen this author do so much better with this fucking romance, but again, it feels like they forgot, and then they just, I guess, didn't know how to follow through, which, at this point, again, I'm probably not reading this author again. On top of, like, also there being several references to the bigot book lady, the thing I liked the most about the books was Fergus, and that was thrown away in this series, and that was thrown away in this book. And then, like, the general storytelling used to be fun, used to be entertaining. That's gone. I don't trust this author with shit. Especially because I would have to pay for it with my money, with my time and my money. I couldn't. I'm so upset. That's how upsetting that kind of fucking line is to me. I was not this angry until I read that goddamn line again, because I hate it. I really do. There were a lot of, I'm sad. I'm sad. The end of the book, it's odd. It felt not properly ended. Like, the way Fergus and Diana had been getting fucking emails, I guess, from God that gave them all of the information they could possibly fucking need and want that they legally shouldn't have to help them solve this case, the last case, and maybe one beforehand, but I'm not sure. And that's not fucking addressed. It's just like, oh, here's this person. I mean, and then we have a full discussion of them being like, I mean, it's not like their information is solid, and thus far they haven't like asked anything horrible of us. They're just asking us to like help with these mysteries. And she's like, I guess okay, but let's just be on the lookout for anything suspicious. And that's kind of how that topic ends, and which makes it feel like there should be more books, but the like shitty romance like ending, that feels like a conclusion. And so, granted, if there was another book dropped tomorrow, I would not buy it. If I was given the sixth book, I would not read it. But like I have, because it was like an email newsletter thing, I think a prequel to the series, and I'm worried that I'm gonna read this fucking prequel. That might honestly have whoever the fucking emailer is that might answer that question, but I'm worried I'm gonna get to that fucking book and it's gonna be like, oh, Diana, you were like, it's gonna have some weird like unnecessary, everything's connected kind of bullshit that we've seen in this book, because I don't know if the author wrote that like earlier back in the good old days, or if the author wrote that at the end of the series. I don't know. I'm not gonna waste my time. Oh my god. There was also a obnoxious false equivalency of Diana in the book saying so this is with regards to her like being suspicious of the DEI, because this highly decorated like well-respected DEI came to her like small fucking town, and like it was weird to see someone who had done so good at their job seem to be almost demoted and we have no reason why. And she said, I thought you were working for someone else. She's meaning the like conspiracy big group people. I mumbled, it was only too obvious that the opposite was true. Hadn't I been treated the same way as the detective when I quit my London job to come back and start a flower business in Merrifield? I would have done well to consider my own past before judging the man in front of me. That's such a terrible false fucking equivalency. That's such a terrible false equivalency, as well as also like denying like the sheer amount of power that he as a police officer has. Even ignoring that, she like people really didn't seem to give her a hard time until like bodies started turning up around her, which, you know, fair for someone to be like suspicious of like the fact that bodies were turning up around her. And then again, actually, no, we're going to include, she should understand the power the police have, because the police in Merrifield, who were constantly trying to pin her for every fucking crime that happened in the fucking town, including some of the ones that popped up near her. And that was because he was turned down by her fucking mother, and he's a misogynistic twat. But again, such vastly different scenarios. Like, the same could have been said for every single murderer, and like hadn't people like treated you differently. Honestly, some of them didn't get treated differently, and they should have, because they did kill people. Like, this is a bad note. This is a bad note, and I hate it. I truly hate it. Also, like, at the end of the day, also, if she had turned in the information and whatnot at the very beginning, she probably would not have done it as like a one-on-one with that cop. And we know for a fact that there are dirty cops in the field. We know that for a fact. In fact, I can read you I can read you the horrible fucking exposition dump. Okay, like when talking about when they're trying to do the drug raid, this is the exposition dump I had to sit through. One of my trusted team members tried to make a phone call halfway through organizing the sting team. I banned the use of any communication devices just to be safe. I checked the number as soon as I stopped him from making the call, but the person on the other end had hung up when they heard the struggle going on down the line. I tried the number again, but it had been blocked and I couldn't trace it. Imagine that line, but like an entire paragraph of just an entire chapter of just that, and that's how we like close up the fucking sting operation. And then they go in and talk to the daughter, and then the mom comes in with the lawyer. It's bad. It's rough. Also, side note, I just like to say because they for sure have enough evidence to put the daughter in jail for some period of time. They keep acting like there's nothing on this fucking world they could do to put her mother in jail. But not only do they have a testimony from the daughter like saying what her mother did, but also like everything about the character of this woman that we've seen says she is not going to be okay with being the only person taking the fall. And I don't know why we're all acting like this woman wouldn't just sing like a goddamn bird once she gets arrested. Anything else of note in this book? Oh, there was also, so when Diana finds the skeleton at the beginning of the book, she finds the skeleton, the police take the skeleton, but her dog was chewing on an extra bone that had a symbol marked into it. Later on in the book, she and Fergus are just wandering around London. Their dogs get off the chain, run off, and run into two random dudes randomly in a random part of fucking London that also have that marking on their wrist. And that is the, like, it couldn't be, like, it would, like, it was bad. I was not entertained. Also, a fun example of white people using AAVE without knowing what they're doing. There's a quote. I haven't been showing you any of these things, but that's because I'm tired. I'm tired of this book and I can't wait to be done. There's a point in which the words PER-LEASE is on there. And it's in the text, and I'm 99% sure it's supposed to be police, like police kind of thing. But I this is why we gatekeep AAVE, because where did you get per? I read, every time I look at this word, I think it's per lease, like per your lease agreement kind of thing. That's not what it is. That's not what it's supposed to be, but that's not how you write that. It, like, who told you that? Where did you hear that? Is also a question. I'm glad I'm done with it, is honestly my main reaction here. I'm glad I'm done with it. I'm glad I'm done with it. We're done with this book. I am I can say proudly and confidently, I would not have put, because of how book 4 went, I would not have put this on my 5-star book draft, but I would not have thought it would be this rough. Nope. Did not think it was going to be this rough. I was not enjoying it at all. Should I do like I'll give you like a quick, like, here's what to expect from me in the next little bit. I do plan on doing, I have another like main kind of like non-bookish video stream that I plan on doing. Hopefully I finish all the research for it so I can stream it next week. If not, it'll be the week after. In the next couple days, I'm going to actually do a stream on my vlog channel. I have a setup. I can show you, I guess. Somewhat, maybe. Who knows? Unless I break everything, I can show you. But I have a setup. Nope. Kind of. System kind of works. The system kind of works. I have a setup so that way I can do some arty streams. I want to do some art streams. We'll adjust this one. I'm actually going to be doing. Oh god, I'm making it worse. I'm just going to go back. I have a setup so we can do art streams, and I'm going to be doing like just some colored pencil practice because I need to get better at that technique. Upcoming, I don't know how soon, because I want to do like a basics of the situation in Congo kind of stream. But that's going to be after, again, whatever the next one is. That's going to be an interesting one. That one's the next one's going to be significantly more just like kind of a bullshit topic to talk about, but it's in between. Like it's somewhat important, but it's also like not the most important thing in the world. And I have finished Babel. And I do need to stream Babel. I need to gather my notes for Babel. That's probably like biggest concern here, is eventually getting notes together. That's going to take some time. But otherwise, that's kind of what to expect soon. That is all there is from me on this stream. Thank y'all so much for watching and hanging out, and until next time, valedictions, friends.